So today we will do some exercises. Next lecture we can actually learn something new. Let's practice what we have already learned. I have sent you 3 exercises, but that's not all. We will try to do them together. I will give you maybe 10-15 minutes for each. Then we will do them together, and I will try to find another exercises and we'll send them to you in WhatsApp. Okay. So first exercises in your list is called sum of differences. Please read the problem statement, and before writing any code, just try to solve it on your head. I don't know, on a paper. Just try to figure out what steps would you take to solve this problem, and then start writing code. I will also help you if necessary. I'm stopping the recording right now. For clarity, let's also draw the first problem, and let's see actually how we solved it. Let's say they have given us any list, okay? This is just a list. Let's call it a list. And what's the length of the list is, like, let's call it n. Length of the list is 3, right? Okay, it's 3. Now I want to do what? I have 2, 1, and 10. This is my list. I have 2, 1, and 10. They ask us to find differences between pairs when the list is in descending order. Okay. Firstly, this list is not in descending order. We need to sort it. So we sort it by, last lecture we talked about sorting algorithms, but for this exercise we don't write our own algorithm. We just use Python's built-in sort function, which is just list.sort, array.sort. Okay, we sort it so the array becomes like this in descending order. Okay, now we have to find the differences between pairs. They ask us to find the differences between pairs, like difference between 10, 2, and the other difference is between 2 and 1. We don't have any other pairs here. Like when they talk about consecutive pairs, so the pairs should be like next to each other. So we need to find the sum of consecutive pairs. And this is what 8 plus 1 is 9. The result is 9. If we want to generalize this formula, what we do, we just find, let's write some dummy mathematical formula. It will be like sum of like array I minus array I plus 1. Okay, it will be something like this. If we write like in mathematical notation, it will be something like this. I equals to 0 and I goes to what? N minus 1. Okay, we just find the sum of array I minus array I plus 1. Like, this is how mathematically you will define this function. We find the sum of numbers till sum of differences between array I and array I plus 1, where I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever n is. I will start from 0 and will go till n minus 1. Why not n, but n minus 1? Because if I go to here, let's say I is now, at this point. We don't have I plus 1 right now. If I'm at the last element of the array, I don't have I plus 1. I don't have the next element. but I need to sum array I plus 1, right? And that's why we don't go till n, but till n minus 1, because at this point we will have next element, but after that we won't have the next element. Okay, is the idea clear for you? And so to solve this, as we first stated, so we need to sort the array first, but not in the, by default, sort function in Python will sort it by what ascending order, but we need descending order. For this reason, we will pass a parameter which is called reverse true. It will sort it in descending order. Then we need to find the sum. Total equals to 0, and we need to return the total at the end. And what was this? We start from 0, we end at n minus 1, and we sum these differences. So we start from I starts from 0, ends at n minus 1. N is just length of array, okay? Length of array. And we sum total plus equals array I minus array I plus 1. You can also just cover it with parentheses, so maybe it's more clear. So this is the result. If I run the test, I'll run the test, it will pass like 8 test cases. Those 8 test cases are in here. For example, they have this array, they have this array, the expected result is this, and etc. And if I run attempt, it will run like 108 test cases. We don't see what are those test cases, but if this is okay, then it means our code works correctly. Actually, they have test cases. For example, right now they have this long array. For example, in another test case, they have this long array. Our function, our code should work for all of these cases. Okay, that's why we don't just do the exercises for this one. We just do the exercise for every case. In real life, you never know what will be the input. Okay, you always need to take care of different cases. So if you haven't written it, just copy it. Just make sure that you understood why we do it and how we do it. For example, we are trying to find factorial. So let's write something like this. I is 1. Result is 1. So when first I is 1, result is 1, then we multiplied result by I and assign back to result. Now, when I is 2, result is still 1, but we multiplied result by I and assign it back to result. So it is 2. Now it's 2. On the next iteration, when I is 3, result is still 2, but when I is 3, we're on the next iteration, when I is 3, we multiply result by I. What is multiplied by result by I? It's 6. We assign it back to result, so it is 6. On the next iteration, I is 4. Result was 6 last time. Result was 6 last time. So right now we multiply 4 by result because I is 4. So result is 24. Next time, when I is 5, actually we need to add 1 to it because range will exclude this one. So at the end, when the I is 5, result is 24, right? What we do, we multiply result by I. So we multiply 24 by 5 and assign it back to result, and result becomes 200 and 120. And this loop finishes because what this loop does, it goes from 1 to 5. N is 5, so we go to 1 to 5. At this point, the loop is finished. When loop is finished, this line will be executed. For example, this line will be, the result will be, output will be 120 because last value of result was 120. It's just basic way of summing, like summing elements also works like this. For example, let's say I want to find sum of elements from 1 to 5. Instead of multiplying it, I just add 1. I just add I. What happens here, for example, at this point, we should start from 0 because if we start from 1, we will add 1 to the final result. Okay, but when we were multiplying, we don't start from 0 because we will multiply everything by 0, and at the end, the result will be 0. That's why it differs by the operation you do here. But like it's the basic idea of like accumulating some stuff onto a variable. So here it's the same thing. We get a total. What we add to this total is just difference of the pairs. We find difference, add it to total. Find difference, add it to total. Find difference, add to total. And at last, our total is our desired result. So we return it from this function. And this platform, this Codewars, will get this return value. If I don't return anything here, this platform will assume that I didn't calculate anything. I need to return the value that I have got. Is this clear? Okay. To the next question, then I will help you with the next question as well. So the problem is like this. We have a bunch of, for some reason, we have a bunch of ships. We have, and they ask us, just let's look at the problem statements. And they note that there will always be exactly one wolf in the array. Okay, there won't be in any case that we don't have this wolf here. This wolf can be here, I don't know, here, anywhere in the array. But yeah, we will always have this wolf here. And they just ask us two conditions, I believe. We are given a list of ships and one wolf. And we are in the front of the queue. So this is a kind of queue. I don't know, these ships are for some saint queue, for Jesus, I don't know. Maybe they're waiting to be blessed. And among them, there is one wolf. So what Jesus needs to do, if the closest animal to the Jesus is wolf, then Jesus needs to say, please go away and stop eating my sheep. Okay. Let's write a text here. If the closest animal to Jesus is wolf, it means that if the wolf is actually here, this is one condition. If wolf is at the end of the array, it means that Jesus will say, please go away and stop eating my sheep. Actually, we can write this condition right away. Just let's say, what's the length of our queue? It's just n. For example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Length is 8, right? What's the last index here? It's 7, right? We need to look at the last index to see if this is wolf or not. So if this is a wolf, like we will look at it like this. If the last element in the array, that's why I write n minus 1, because the last index is not 8, it's 7. I just return this text. Please go away and stop eating my sheep. And this will pass some test cases, even like let's they have one test case here that satisfies this condition. If I test, you will see that if I test, one test case is actually passed and the others failed because on the other cases, they ask some other result from me. So if otherwise, this was the first case. This was the first case where the closest animal to Jesus is wolf. In the other case, Jesus should count the number of sheep after him. For example, this sheep is 1, this 2, this is 3. So Jesus will just start fetching the sheep. For example, it will fetch this sheep and will send it to some, I don't know, another sheep. I think it was Moses, I don't know. Yeah, we'll bless this sheep and we'll send it to somewhere. Now this sheep is blessed. So this sheep index was 1. Jesus, for us, for our programmers, we start counting from right to left. We start counting from 0. But Jesus is not a programmer, so he starts from this end of the array and he starts counting from 1. This is how problem asks us. And he will fetch another sheep and he will bless it somehow. And actually it doesn't fetch, it just looks just okay. Then he sees a wolf. Then he warns this sheep that oi, oi, sheep number n. Then he warns this oi, sheep number n. It means sheep number 2 because next to this sheep there was a wolf. Oh, ship number 2, just maybe it's here, just don't fetch them, just walks the list. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Oh, it's something like this, okay? Jesus just walks this list. And if he sees that there is some wolf next to some sheep, he just warns the sheep that you're about to be eaten by a wolf. He doesn't do anything because he's not supposed to interfere with normal flow of events. Otherwise, it can, I don't know, destroy timeline or something. Okay, is this the idea clear? We actually passed the first test case where the closest animal to sheep. Actually, this is not right, actually. I need to write wolf here. If the last animal is wolf, this wasn't right. If the last animal is a wolf, like wolf is here, then I need to return this. So we passed only one test case and the other test cases are not passed because they expect that to say, oh, ship number 2, oh, ship number 5, like they have different test cases. For the other test cases, let's see how can we count them. Okay, I will keep a count for myself. For example, I create a let's call this index. I start from 1. You can also start from 0. I think 1, 2. Actually, let's start from 0. Okay, we start from 0, and Jesus creates a for loop and starts iterating over the sheeps. Jesus shows that this is a sheep. Let's just increment this index and make this 1. Jesus sees that this is a sheep. Let's increment this count. And Jesus sees that there is a wolf, and Jesus will break the loop. If the animal is wolf, it will break the loop, and we will just return this value. Oi, index, like we will like embed this index here, whatever the index is. Maybe wolf isn't here, but wolf is here. Okay. And now Jesus won't see a wolf, but we'll see a sheep, and we'll increment this index by 1. And when it just encounters a wolf, it will return this value, index equals to 3. Is the idea clear? So let's help Jesus. I create a value which is called 0, and we will write a while loop. I can just write while true because I will break the loop whenever I feel necessary. If I see a ship like Q at index, but no, we need to start from we need to write a for loop. For I in range, I need to start from like last array, like last element of the array. I need to go to the first element of the array. Like instead of going from 0 to like n, I need to go from n to 0. In Python, you can write it like this. For example, I start from n, actually n minus 1, and then actually n minus 2 because we already looked at n minus 1. We already looked at the last element. We go to 0 and we go back, minus 1 here just means backwards. We start from n, we go to 0, and we go backwards. Just minus 1 means that we go backwards. Okay, so if qi, it means current animal is sheep, just increment the index by 1. If current animal is wolf, just break the loop. And at the end, we will return the index because we already saw some sheeps, maybe, then we just return whatever the index is. At last, for example, when Jesus encounters a wolf here, he just will break the loop. And when loop finishes, we will return the index. Clear? Let's try if it actually works. It doesn't work. OI ship number 2. Yeah, you're right. Where was the text? Yeah, let's use this. OI ship number. Yeah, I just returned 1, 4, 5. I need to add 1 to them because you see, I returned 1, but they expect 2. I returned 4, but they expect 5. Yeah, let's write this text. You remember Python formatting, right? I write f here, and instead of this 2, I will write index. Index will be 1, 2, 0, whatever. I just return it. And test. And I say 1, but they expect 2. I don't know why it happened because on the picture, Jesus actually returned 3. Maybe it started from counting like, see sheep 1, then sheep 2, sheep 3, then wolf break. Actually, it should work. Why not?
The indexes are called 1.
What? Because here actually I need to start from the last element. Yeah, I don't need to skip it. Yeah, it works. I don't need to skip the last element. Maybe there was a sheep. So this pass all 105 test cases. N-2, N-1 elədim. Çünki səhv fikirləşmişdim əslində burada. Düzdür, burada return dedikdə funksiyanı dayandırır, break kimidir. Okay. Burada return yazmışamsa, ben bu case artıq handle olunub deməkdir. I already handled this case. So if we don't match this case, it means the last element is not wolf, but is sheep. So I need to count that sheep as well. Okay. We can actually write it differently as well. Just try to copy it if you already understood how it works. Just copy it, and we will look at another way of solving this question. Another way of writing, maybe more easier way of writing this problem would be for us. Let's move Jesus not to last of the array, but for the beginning of the array, like this. Jesus now comes here and starts counting from here. But we need to also reverse the list. for Jesus. But we will do the same, but we will reverse the list for Jesus. So actually Python has a method which is called reverse. For example, if I give it 2, 3, 5, 7, it will give me 7, 5, 3, 2. It just reverses the list. I can use this method to do the same. For example, what I do here, I first reverse my list, Q reverse. It will just turn all the ships and the wolves around. Instead of looking at last element, I will look at first element here. And actually, I don't need to go from n-1 to 0. I just need to go 0 to n. I don't need this -1 here. And yeah, I think this should work, right? I'm not sure it will work. Like I go from 0 to n. Then if current ship is, I add 1, then let's see. This works. Have ship number 2. I need to have this empty line here. This actually works. Yeah, if you don't want to like go backwards, it's also a way, like we just reverse the list. Actually, if you want to more simplify it, we can just remove it. We can also remove this one. If the, like, if the, yes, if we see a wolf, we just return this text. Return this text. Instead of index, we need I because we don't have index. Yeah. It should work, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it works. You see, I reverse the list and I start from the beginning of the list. And as soon as I see a wolf, I just return. I just break and return. I don't even need to check the sheep because there is only one wolf and I worry about that wolf. As soon as I see a wolf, I return. Return is also same as, not same, but return is also like break. It will break the loop and will break the function as well. It will stop them immediately.
In this case, after return to do right F.
Yeah, actually, this is just, I can write F here. I can also write I here, and it's the same. It's just different way of writing this stuff, this string. If I don't write, the F here means that it's formatted string. If I don't write F here, I need to write it like this, like add this string plus number and plus this string. It will just concatenate, like join the strings together. It will make a whole string. But if I want to be more clear and I want to write like clean code, I will write it like this. Let's also name it index, for example. It doesn't have to be named I. You can name it in anything you want. You don't have to write 0 if you're starting from 0. Like it's like this. Okay, let's have some 5 minutes break and continue with some other exercises. Let's see. So the problem asks us to find n's even number. For example, first even number is 0. Third even number is 4. Like hundredths even number is 198. Let's just count even numbers. Okay, let's create a variable which is called current number. Like current even number is 0. Next even number is 0 plus 2. And the next even number is 2 plus 2. I just need to add 2 to them to get the next even numbers, okay? Let's just while true, like I don't even stop. It's while true. Just add 2 to current number. Plus equals 2. It will be 0, 2, 4, 6, all even numbers. Okay. But I need to know when I am on the nth even number. For that reason, I also need another number. Let's like current index. Let's call it index, like current count, or maybe like let's count current count. Okay, like we start count from 1 because they ask like 1 first even number is 0. Like whenever I see that I counted till n, I just return the current number. I'm not sure if it works. Let's just break. We can also call it even number. Let's also call it again. Like infinitely, I just count even numbers. But whenever I notice that I counted till n might be 1, I don't know, 100, n can be whatever they give us. N can be this number. I just need to count till n. And at this point, I realized that like I have just an integer, I add 1 to it every time I count numbers. Whenever I see that I have reached n, then I can just break the loop. Let's test if this works. I think this works. And if attempted, should pass, hopefully. Hopefully, should pass all the test cases. I think it's stuck somewhere. Timed out. Yeah, they give us such a large number that our loops runs a lot, and we basically like don't meet the time limits. Maybe there is a faster way of finding this. Just when the very basic form, this is how you do it. And how this works, I have even number and I have what? Current count. Even number starts from 0. Current even number is like, let's also call it just count. It's too long. Oh. Okay, so even number is currently 0. Okay, while true, like infinitely, I add 2 to this even number. So now it's 2. After I know that I am at 2, I add 1 to it. Like I add 1 to my count. And the next iteration, I add another 2 to my even number. It's now 4. My count is actually 2, right? My count is now 3. On the next iteration, this is 6. This is 4. On the next iteration, this is 8. This is 5. So in this like flow, like first even number is 0, second even number is 2, third even number is 4, fourth even number is 6, fifth even number is 8, and etc. Like for example, let's say they have given me n equals to 5. They ask me to find fifth even number. Like I do this, 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 and at this point I realize that I have actually reached n. Then I return just this number. At this point, I realize that I have actually reached that number and just break the loop. Stop it and I returned that even number, the last even number that I found. Is this clear? There is probably a mathematical way of doing this. It will be just 1 or 2 lines, depending on the formula, but this is basic, I think, easiest way of doing it. Okay, there will be another way to use a for loop. For example, let's write a for loop for even number in range from 0 to I don't know what, and we should jump by 2 each time. I don't know why I wrote this number. I just wrote it. Okay, it should pass some test cases, some of them, not all of them. What's happening here? Oh, I need to break the loop, right? If pound is n, I can break the loop. Yeah. If you write for loop, it's a little bit different, but because I don't know where should I end the for loop, I think the while loop was the better way. But even if it's slow, because we count all the even numbers, if it's slow, it works. Maybe we can find another formula here, like find nth even number mass. Maybe there is a formula. Actually, it's just 2 to the power of n. I don't know why I didn't think so. Is this actually 2 to the power of n?
Oh, to the power.
But for example, is this power of 2?
It's just multiply on power.
Is this power of 2?
No.
No, but why we have this solution there? Maybe this is different. Okay, it's not power, it's just multiplication. Okay, it was just multiplication. Shall we? But yeah, do we need to? We need to minus 2 here. 100 multiplied by 2 minus 2. 3 multiplied by 2 minus 2. 1 multiplied 2 minus 2. Yeah, we need to minus. We need a minus 2 here. And this works for all cases. Yeah, but you could also write it with for loop, even if it is not necessary. Okay. At home, try to do other tasks. For example, there is a count odd numbers below. For example, n, they will give you a number n. You need to just count the odd numbers. How many odd numbers are there till n? For example, till 7, we have 3 odd numbers, 1, 3, 5. Till 15, we have 7 odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, etc. For example, we have another problem here to binary. They give you a number, you need to return it in binary. For example, 11 is in binary is 1011. There's another problem here. It's very easy. You just sum two arrays. Like we know how to find sum of one list. They just give you 2 lists. You need to find some of them. It is interesting one. They give you a number and you need to print multiplication table. You just try it at home, maybe ask ChatGPT to explain it to you. Ask him to explain it to me like I'm 5. It will explain you much clearer way, maybe. I'm sure that there are some resources on internet about this. Just try to do something at home. This is a little bit challenging, not really hard, but maybe you might consider it hard. You just return this array into a whole string with commas. It's called comma separated value, CSV. And yeah, but at least write something at home. Like we wrote some code here during the class, and you can also just repeat them. Just do something just for your hands or for your, I don't know, consciousness, subconsciousness to be aware of and to be accustomed. Okay. Do you have any questions? Is this hard?